If you don't become aware of your inner child wounds, you could be bringing them from the past into the present and also then into the future. So in this video, I'm going to share with you why you must heal your past so you can have a more fulfilling future. So I've shared in a lot of videos now how we get programmed and wounded from childhood. It tends to be either childhood trauma or societal conditioning. Parents in general just programming us, and then we end up creating these inner child wounds, then creates these limiting beliefs about ourselves. And if you do want to go check out more about how inner child wounds create blockages in your life, check out this video here and I'll dive into much more detail about that specific topic. So if we haven't been able to process this emotional pain, what happens then, it creates this kind of psychological wound, and then the energy of the emotion, if it hasn't been processed, it gets stored in our nervous system. We end up creating a survival mechanism. We get stuck in survival mode. So we create these kind of coping mechanisms, these defense mechanisms, because what has happened is we've kind of changed who we are, how we show up in the world. And then that kind of becomes our personality. We carry all of this pain, this wounding, this trauma, particularly if it's childhood trauma or just conditioning from society in general, into adulthood because we haven't been able to process it properly. We've been told not to act a certain way, so we show up in a way that is operating through a persona, through our trauma. And we have this kind of lens of perception that is from the past into the present moment in our current lives, and then can also affect our future if we don't heal those wounds and address them. Stop right there. Before we continue with the video, I want to fill you in on an absolute amazing opportunity that is coming up on the 21st of October. On the 21st of October, straight through to the 28th, I'm offering a free masterclass. The masterclass is called The Path to Emotional Freedom. And this masterclass will help you to unlock your true potential, reconnect you back to your true self, identify your limiting beliefs and release those beliefs that will no longer serve you, so you can have that more deep and meaningful relationships, start those new projects, become that best version of yourself, and ultimately change your inner world so then your outer world will be changed. You reclaim back your power from your limited beliefs, your wounds. This will be jam-packed to help you on your healing journey and get you on your way to transformation. And this is absolutely 100% free. If you want to come and join the community of like-minded people that are going along this journey as well, click the link in the pinned comments below to start your transformational journey today and reclaim back your power. So this means we are never really fully present because we are always operating from our past emotional pain. And then when we are getting triggered, there's a limiting belief or a wound that comes to the surface. So that is our past, our emotional past, coming to the present moment because that pain hasn't been transcended and into our conscious awareness. So we constantly operate and get triggered based on this past emotional pain. So what can happen, because we are holding on to this, we become a victim. We start to feed that negativity or that pain rather than negativity. We continue to feed that the emotional body of that. And so we are keeping ourselves in victimhood and in a really limited way of thinking. And that's how we are operating. We're not really present in the now moment because we are bringing that from the past into the present, and ultimately that's affecting our future, whether that's future relationships, future just lifestyle, our abundance, our mindset in general. because we create these limiting beliefs about ourselves, like we are not good enough, we're not worthy enough, I can't trust. So this kind of blocks us from actually having those deep and meaningful relationships, connections, the abundance we want in our life. And it's not until we finally actually process that, become aware of the belief there, and process the actual emotional charge, the emotion of it that is stored in the nervous system, so then it can flow through us and out of us and have that actual energetic release of the emotion. And if these inner child wounds don't come into our conscious awareness and we don't address that emotional pain, our relationships will. Because our relationships will always reflect back to us ways in which we are not in our power, ways in which we don't actually love ourselves, not in an egotistical way, but in a very empowered way, where we're putting ourselves first in a really like loving self-acceptance kind of way, accepting who we are on a core level, all aspects of ourselves. And our relationships will reflect back to us our pain, our wounds, because relationships will bring out that past emotional pain. It will trigger you, because what we are doing, we are playing out the same patterns, the same familiar patterns over and over again that were from childhood with our own relationships. This can be romantic relationships, where it tends to be the strongest, friendships, because what we are doing here, we'd rather experience a self-destructive behavior pattern because it feels familiar, a really familiar pattern that really is not serving us in any way. We'd rather feel that or experience it because it feels familiar, because it's how we've just been conditioned to be. It's our childhood, and how the body just remembers that, and it wants to feel that familiar feeling. So we'd rather have that than an unfamiliar, unknown, like good behavior pattern, or like a positive, empowered behavior pattern where we're making choices that are serving us in a really divine, empowered way to help us live more in alignment, to have deep and meaningful relationships. So our relationships will always show ways that we are just not in our power and still living in the past. So we need to heal this past emotional pain, these inner child wounds, to be able to unlock our future. Because if we are still operating from our limiting beliefs and our inner child wounds, we're not going to be able to unlock the most highest version of ourselves, because these limiting beliefs will keep us trapped and small in our ego self, in a prison cell. And we have that key, we hold that key ourselves to unlocking that prison cell, releasing everything. And so then we can make choices that empower us and don't keep us trapped because we are fearful. Maybe you fear rejection, maybe you fear judgment, maybe you fear of the unknown, so you don't take steps to go out your comfort zone, start those projects, be expressive, like creatively, or do the things in a way that really fulfill your soul and then help you step in your power and create this life that can have these deep and meaningful connections and ultimately have that self-love and emotional freedom that you desire. When we start to shine the light of awareness onto our shadows, our limited beliefs, our fears and everything, then what we are doing is then we're able to become aware of these behavior patterns, these beliefs, so we can break the cycle of repeating these behavior patterns. So if you want to start your transformational journey today and stop replaying those familiar behavior patterns out that are really toxic, and so you can have these deep and meaningful connections, show up in the world that's a really empowered way and fulfill your purpose, sign up for my Emotional Freedom Masterclass. Just click the link below, and we start on the 21st at 4 p.m. UK time, and this will help you start to live that life you really want, free of emotional suffering. So with that being said, I'll see you then.